Have you ever wondered how cooks from centuries past managed to turn tough, chewy cuts of meat into mouth-watering, tender dishes, long before the invention of pressure cookers or slow cookers? The answer might surprise you, and it's a story that begins with a fruit you probably know well. Their secret weapon was none other than the pineapple, a fruit that, in its day, was considered both exotic and precious, often reserved for the tables of the wealthy or for special occasions. In a time before modern kitchen gadgets and scientific explanations, cooks relied on their keen observation, creativity, and a willingness to experiment with new ingredients. They noticed patterns, tested ideas, and shared their discoveries, passing them down through generations. Pineapple, with its spiky crown and golden flesh, was a rare luxury in many parts of the world. Its arrival in European kitchens sparked curiosity and excitement, and soon it became a symbol of hospitality and culinary innovation. At some point, an observant cook noticed something remarkable. When slices of pineapple were left in contact with tough cuts of meat, the meat would become astonishingly tender, almost as if by magic. Of course, it wasn't magic at all. It was science at work, even if the cooks of the time didn't have the vocabulary to explain it. The pineapple contains a powerful enzyme called bromelain, which breaks down proteins and softens the fibers in meat. This discovery quickly became a treasured kitchen secret, whispered among cooks and written into the margins of old recipe books. Pineapple's tenderizing power was a revelation, allowing even the toughest, most affordable cuts of meat to be transformed into something special. Suddenly, families who couldn't afford the finest cuts could enjoy meals that felt luxurious. The sweet fruit didn't just soften the meat, it elevated the entire dining experience, making the ordinary extraordinary. But the magic of pineapple didn't stop at texture. Its natural sweetness paired beautifully with savory herbs and spices, opening up a world of new flavor combinations. Cooks began to experiment, blending sweet and savory in ways that delighted the palate and surprised the senses. The result? Dishes that were not only more tender but also more complex, vibrant, and enjoyable. Meals became celebrations of flavor, texture, and creativity. Even today, we honor this tradition in beloved recipes from around the world, like Mexico's al pastor tacos, where pineapple's tangy sweetness balances spicy pork, or the classic sweet and sour pork found in Chinese cuisine. The pineapple's ancient secret lives on, echoing through our modern plates and reminding us that sometimes the simplest ingredients can have the most profound impact on our food. Culinary resourcefulness never goes out of style. From the kitchens of the past to the tables of today, the story of pineapple is a testament to the power of curiosity, experimentation, and the sweet rewards of thinking outside the box. The secret inside pineapple is bromelain, a powerful enzyme. Bromelain breaks down protein chains, making meat tender. Use it too long, though, and your meat turns to mush. Ancient cooks learned the perfect timing through trial and error. Bromelain is most concentrated in the pineapple's core and stem, parts we often discard. Only fresh or frozen pineapple works. Canning destroys the enzyme. That's why canned pineapple won't ruin your Jell-O, but fresh will. It's a perfect example of edible science at work. Even without knowing the chemistry, cooks knew what worked. Long before the discovery of tropical fruits like pineapples, cooks around the world relied on the power of acids to transform tough, chewy cuts of meat into tender, flavorful dishes. Vinegar, wine, and citrus juices were the secret weapons in kitchens from ancient Rome to medieval Persia. These acidic ingredients weren't just chosen for their taste. They played a crucial role in the science of cooking, helping to break down the dense muscle fibers that made meat hard to chew. When acids are introduced to meat, they begin to unravel the tightly wound protein structures. This process, known as denaturation, changes the texture of the meat, making it noticeably softer and juicier. The acid essentially pre-digests the meat, so when it's cooked, it stays moist and tender instead of drying out or becoming tough. Denaturation also allows the meat to hold on to more moisture during cooking, which is why marinated meats often turn out so succulent. The result is a juicy, flavorful bite that's worlds apart from the original tough cut. But acids do more than just tenderize. They infuse the meat with layers of flavor, creating a complex taste profile that's both bright and savory. A good marinade balances acidity with salt, oil, and sometimes a touch of sweetness, drawing out the best in every ingredient. In the sun-soaked kitchens of the Mediterranean, wine and vinegar were everyday staples. Cooks would soak tough cuts of lamb, beef, or game in these acidic liquids, often for hours or even overnight, to ensure the meat was tender enough for a celebratory feast. The acid worked slowly, gently breaking down the meat's structure while infusing it with the flavors of herbs, spices, and sometimes garlic or onions. This patient process prepared the meat for the fire, ensuring it would emerge juicy and full of character. Each type of acid, whether it was robust red wine, sharp vinegar, or the bright juice of a lemon, brought its own unique flavor and aroma. The possibilities for flavor combinations were nearly endless, limited only by the cook's imagination and what was available in the pantry. Ancient cooks loved to experiment, pairing their favorite acids with fresh herbs, dried spices, and even a hint of sweetness from honey or fruit. This creativity led to signature dishes and regional specialties that are still enjoyed today. In Roman kitchens, wine and honey were often combined to create a sweet and sour marinade, while Persian cooks used yogurt, a gentle acid, to tenderize lamb and infuse it with subtle tang. Across cultures, acids unlocked both tenderness and taste, making even the toughest cuts a centerpiece of the meal. This simple yet ingenious technique allowed cooks to make the most of every ingredient, turning leftovers and pantry staples into something extraordinary. Nothing went to waste, and every meal was an opportunity for creativity. The real secret behind these ancient marinades wasn't just the acid. It was the patience and creativity of the cook, who knew that with a little time and imagination, even the toughest meat could be transformed into a delicious, memorable dish. Salt is more than just a seasoning. It's a powerful tenderizer and a transformative ingredient in the kitchen. While we often think of salt as something to sprinkle on food for flavor, its true magic lies in how it interacts with proteins and moisture, especially when used in the process of brining. Brining, which means soaking meat in a solution of salt and water, is one of the oldest culinary techniques known to humankind. For centuries, cooks have relied on this simple method, not only to preserve food but also to enhance its texture and flavor. The process is deceptively simple, yet the results are remarkable. When salt dissolves in water, it creates a brine that begins to work its magic. The salt disrupts the protein structures in the meat, causing them to unwind and form a web that traps water molecules. This means the meat can absorb and retain more moisture than it would otherwise. The result? Juicier, more tender meat, even after high-heat cooking methods like roasting, grilling, or frying. Brined meat stays succulent and flavorful, resisting the dryness that can plague lean cuts or overcooked roasts. Originally, brining was developed as a way to preserve meat before refrigeration existed. People discovered that salt water could keep food safe for longer periods. But over time, cooks noticed something else. Brined meat had a noticeably improved texture and taste. Even a short soak in a mild brine can transform lean, tough cuts of meat, making them more enjoyable to eat. The saltwater solution gently seasons the meat and helps it retain its natural juices during cooking. Unlike surface seasoning, brining seasons meat from the inside out, infusing every bite with flavor and complexity. The result is a depth of taste that's hard to achieve with dry seasoning alone. You can customize your brine by adding sugar, herbs, spices, or even aromatics like garlic and citrus peel. These additions infuse the meat with even more layers of flavor, making each dish unique and memorable. Today, brining remains a staple in both home and professional kitchens. Whether you're preparing a holiday turkey, a weeknight chicken breast, or a special roast, this ancient wisdom continues to deliver delicious results. Brining proves that sometimes the simplest techniques can have the most profound impact. With just salt, water, and a little patience, you can unlock the timeless magic of salt and transform your cooking forever. In ancient Greece and Rome, marinades were an art form. Wine or vinegar started the tenderizing, while olive oil carried flavors deep into the meat. Oil also protected meat from drying out during cooking. Roman recipes combined wine, oil, herbs, and even fermented fish sauce for umami. These marinades balanced flavor and function, making tough cuts delicious. The tradition lives on in dishes like Greek souvlaki and Italian bistecca alla fiorentina. Ancient cooks elevated simple ingredients with creativity and balance. Their wisdom still shapes our kitchens today. In Asia, cooks used local fruits like green papaya, rich in the enzyme papain, to tenderize meat. Papaya leaves or paste soften tough cuts before grilling or stewing. Kiwi, with actinidin, is a modern addition to this tradition. Enzyme-rich fruits were often mixed with ginger, garlic, and chilies for aromatic marinades. Fermented ingredients like soy sauce also played a key role. Soy sauce acts as both a brine and a flavor booster, thanks to its salt and glutamates. Rice wine, vinegar, and bean pastes added layers of flavor and tenderness. Asian marinades often combined enzymes, acids, and salt for maximum effect. This multi-layered approach shows centuries of culinary innovation. Not all tenderizing happens before cooking. Sometimes it's all about heat and time. Low and slow cooking transforms tough collagen into silky gelatin. This is the secret behind barbecue, braising, and stewing. Ancient cooks simmered tough cuts for hours, turning them tender and flavorful. Pit cooking, earth ovens, and slow braises all use this principle. Cultures worldwide developed their own slow-cooked specialties, from Hawaiian Kalua pig to Mexican barbacoa. This method required patience and planning. The reward fall-apart meat and deeply melded flavors. Time, as much as any ingredient, is a powerful tenderizer. Slow cooking made the cheapest cuts the most comforting. It's a tradition that endures for good reason. Before chemistry, cooks used brute force, pounding meat to break down fibers. Stones, wood, or cleavers flattened and softened tough cuts. This mechanical tenderizing made meat cook faster and more evenly. The modern meat mallet is a direct descendant of this ancient tool. Classic dishes like schnitzel and chicken fried steak rely on pounding for tenderness. It's fast, effective, and needs only a tool and some muscle. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best. Ancient cooks were innovators, not just recipe followers. They experimented with enzymes, acids, salt, and heat to solve the challenge of tough meat. These techniques were shared and refined across cultures and generations. From Roman marinades to Chinese brines, each method reflects creative problem-solving. The fundamentals of good cooking are timeless. Today, we still use these ancient secrets. Marinating, brining, slow cooking, pounding. Every tender bite connects us to centuries of culinary wisdom. The journey from tough to tender is a tribute to human ingenuity. The genius of old-school cooks lives on in every delicious meal. Their legacy is the foundation of how we eat well today.